started. First, we want to start tonight by thanking everyone for coming. This is a really great showing. Electing your student body leaders is a very important part of your college experience, and we really appreciate you all taking an active part in that. My name is Courtney Seymour. I'm currently serving as the student body president, and I'm very impressed with all the candidates we have tonight, and you guys have a great selection for your student body president and vice president. Now I will introduce Gareth Worrell, the current Chief Justice, who will be emceeing tonight's event.
So before we begin with the debate itself, I'd like to ask Jack Schneeman to come up here, who is running for election chair, and he's going to give a little bit of a...
So I'm just supposed to introduce myself, I guess. I'm Jack Schneeman. I'm running for Senate Chair, and I'm the only one running for Senate Chair. So I will be lucky enough to serve with two of you guys, and good luck to you all. If there's any questions anyone has, off the top of their heads, kind of here, a little dialogue.
Questions about what?
What do you plan to do?
What's your favorite color? What do I plan to do? Okay. Green. So I'm kind of basically running off of a platform that's increasing Bronco pride. One of the main things I feel like we can improve this is kind of instilling a better sense of community within Santa Clara University. Doing this through multiple things, kind of like trying to get back some tailgates, working to get the Bronco up and running again, kind of like it was back in the old days when it was fun and to do things. And then also kind of working off campus and trying to work with the businesses out there to kind of get the student side and input into what they're doing. And for example, like right now I'm working with Mission City, and we're running a survey this week actually to kind of see what the students want in place there, because they had moved out, and we're trying to see what else can get in there next year. So some examples. Anything else?
All right, so now each of the candidates will now briefly introduce themselves and their platform.
All right, well, thank you. Is this working? No. All right, well, thank you, Garrett. My name is Robert Liu.
And I'm Alex Olaginto.
And we want to thank you guys so much for coming out here. We're running on with the motto, connect yourself, express yourself, and share your voice. And we hope to be able to explain that to you further in the questions of the debate. Our vision is to make your experience at Santa Clara more engaging, so you feel more connected to the school now and after graduation. And some of the tangible things we plan on accomplishing if elected: 1, to have a more cohesive alumni base. 2, to encourage class unity. This is in the form of a class ball that we would have off campus, and it's very similar to the senior ball, which we have now, but this would be for every class, so you build great memories with your class. Better integration between CSOs. These are major student organizations like ASG, APB, SCAP, newspaper, and we plan on working together with them because they have enormous resources in order to better achieve our goals. And finally, to build a better relationship with the Greek community and encourage a discussion that needs to be had.
So we feel that the majority of students today consider Santa Clara University's ASG to be out of touch with the student body. So what good is this organization if it can't relate to its students? Because it is primarily the organization that represents the entire school, we feel that Santa Clara ASG must make it a priority to reach out to students and effectively communicate with them. Thank you.
No idea if this works. It's up.
Turn it off, sorry.
That one on? Jenna.
None of these work. It doesn't matter, we can talk. All right, so just to introduce us real quick, I'm Kanish Desai. This is Connor Frere. Connor's running for president, I'm running for VP. And our platform, if you guys have seen posters around, is be part of something big. So what we wanted to do just to open up is tell you guys what we've been doing for the past week. We started a campaign where we had a Google Voice number. It was 210-2012-SCU. And we've been going to we had all the CC meetings, a bunch of MCC meetings, a bunch of larger club meetings on campus. And what we kind of told everyone was, you guys are the guys who are engaged on campus right now, and we want to really tap into your ideas because we don't want to come up here and tell you guys what you want. We want you to tell us what you want, so we can really, better represent you guys and get what you guys want done. So we got a bunch of responses, really great, and we've kind of built what we're going to talk about later on those responses. So anything we say, may or may not have come directly from us, but more likely than not, it was, when we were in SWIG for their CC meeting, someone brought it up, and it was a great idea. But as the system works right now, that might have just stayed in SWIG, or at, at a Barcata meeting or a CSA meeting, something was amazing that got brought up, but it would just stay inside that building. And so what we really want to do is kind of bring the campus together and foster more discussion, and hopefully make it like a usual thing that the president and vice president go to all these major meetings so that we actually know what you guys want. Anything else? That's good. Cool. Thank you guys.
Just go for it.
Okay, cool. All right, hello everyone. My name is Jenna Sasso,
And I'm Matt McDonald.
and I currently serve as the Vice President of Community Development on ASG's executive branch.
And I'm serving my second year on Senate, and I'm currently on the current University Issues Committee.
And so we're just going to kind of give you a brief rundown of our platform.
So first of all, our basic platform is STAR, Safety, Tradition, Academics, Relations. Jenna will talk a little more about that, but we're really here to be the voice of the students. We really feel that we have the knowledge and the experience to help enhance your guys' experience at SCU, and that's what we're here to do.
So, okay, so to give you a little bit of the major points that we're going to work on within that platform, for safety, we're looking to expand the educated patio program, not just in terms of houses, but in terms of how students interact with those houses. And so we want to make it a program that people actually participate in and know what it's all about. It's more than just the tank top, even though those are really cool. And going on with that, we also are going to work on the escort service, which is currently being initiated right now. So we're looking to make that a long-term program once that gets kicked off. And for traditions, we like the idea of school spirit, but to create that school spirit, we need to build traditions. We need to go back to our roots as Broncos. So to that point, we are going to do a fight song initiative to teach everybody the fight song. Everybody heard it at orientation, and we want to bring that back, make it a major part of the student experience. And we also want to make Bronco Week, which is our homecoming week, a big thing again. And we want every different organization to be involved with that so that we can reach as many students as possible. And academics is our A in the STAR, and that's traditionally a point that's overlooked by ASG, and we're looking to kind of bring that back into the ASG realm of things. So to that point, we're going to work on getting a general business minor back or a business certificate, and also work on clarifying the pathway systems for students. And finally, R is relations, and so we would like to make ASG more connected with you. So we want an ASG section in the newspaper, so you know what we're doing. We want ASG potty talk. We want weekly lunches in Benson where Matt and I, if elected, would talk to you guys, tell you what we're working on, and let you give us your feedback. So that's our basic platform. We want to start traditions and leave legacies. Jenna and Matt McDonald.
All right, thank you guys for coming out. My name is Rebecca Solomon,
And I'm David Satcher-Malloy.
and we are here to talk to you tonight a little bit more in depth about our platform, what we stand for, our experience, and why you should make the right choice tomorrow and vote for us. So this is my second year on Senate, and I currently serve as the communications chair. Both Aiden and I are committed to Santa Clara in a variety of ways. So I am involved with ASG, and I am also a Greek member.
And I was a previous CF. I have actually no previous ASG experience, so it has taken a little while to get accustomed. But I do have a variety of different viewpoints from viewing school activity. So being a CF, and also I work as the communications intern on the Office of Sustainability. And then also I've been involved in some other minor clubs here at Santa Clara.
So something we wanted to highlight about our, or about why we wanted to run is we really think we have really unique ideas to create a very lasting impact. And we're very passionate about students' needs and concerns, and I think our platform really reflects that. So the main breakdown is basically 6 taglines that we think are very holistic and kind of incorporate a lot of different student needs and concerns and things that have already been expressed as sort of core tenets of Santa Clara's mission. So I'm going to talk about the first 3, and Ava's going to talk about the final 3. So the first one is breaking the bubble, and I highlighted this a little bit at Meet the Candidates, but basically it's the idea that I think a lot of Santa Clara students really get the sense, and I definitely feel sometimes, that it's very easy to get caught up in feeling like you don't necessarily have, or Santa Clara doesn't necessarily have much of ties to what's going on outside of campus. So what we want to do, or one of the things we would look to change, is sort of create more programming on campus to increase active engagement with social and political issues going on outside of our campus. Another thing we want to highlight is service with a purpose, which is another one of our taglines. So making campus-wide service days a lot more prominent on campus, increasing student activity in those, and also maybe tentatively restructuring of the RLC system to incorporate some level of service so that you're not placed under these themes that you may or may not necessarily have any affiliation with, but have a chance to engage in active service in which you feel passionate about. You'd be able to interact with more of your peers in that sense, and also.
Just real quick, I think we're running out of time. We will cover the rest of our platform taglines throughout the debate. So thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so a little bit about how this debate is going to work. I will be asking 3 questions at random. Each pair will have about 2 minutes to answer the question. They have a specified order which they know about. If they wish to respond personally to a statement or accusation, they'll raise their hand and they'll have 1 minute on the clock. They're only allowed to do this once per round, per question. Additionally, after 3 questions, we will also have questions from the audience. So going around is going to be a 3x5 note card with pens. Please write any questions you have, pass them to the front, and we'll be happy to answer them. Are we ready? Okay. So, the first question. What are your ideas to increase inclusivity on campus?
Thank you, Garrett. So, we talked about this a little bit earlier in our intro, and we see the best way to increase inclusivity, starting from our position as student body president, vice president, is working better with other student organizations. And we mentioned them before, they're called CSOs, the largest ones. And they have these enormous resources that we feel like if we pulled them together, could achieve great things. The first thing, of course, is a class ball for every class that we talked about before. Now, these organizations have been approached in the past by student body presidents and vice presidents. We feel like they've been approached in the wrong way. A good friend of mine is the head of the RLCA, which is not a CSO, but it's one of the largest student-run organizations on campus. And they said, okay, come report to ASG and tell us what you're working on. And this guy's the head of his own organization that has its own huge agenda of events, and he felt kind of belittled that ASG was telling him to come and report, to talk about all the things he's working on, and just leave. We hope to better foster conversation between these organizations, not by having the heads meet once a month and just talk at each other about all the things they're working on to impress one another. We want the people who are working on specific projects to work together between these organizations. So for example, Jack Schneeman was working really hard on putting together a country concert. He thought it would be an awesome thing to do, and he approached these other organizations, and it was going to happen, except they couldn't get enough money from all these different organizations to make it happen. And we feel like better planning, better leadership from the heads of these organizations, we can have these specific projects actually come into reality. All right, thanks.
How you guys doing? Everybody have a good weekend? Thank you guys for coming tonight. To answer that question, I have a question for you guys. How many of you guys have been to the MCC or stepped foot in it before? Raise your hands. step foot in it. I guess that's about maybe 25%. This is the first week me and Kanish actually stepped foot in it too. We went to a majority of the meetings. And we think that, you know, there's a real segregation or separation between just even those people.
Stronger.
Okay, well, and seriously though, between those people and, you know, a lot of the Creek Life, a lot of the other organizations, just a lot of the other students on campus. And just the fact that, you know, other people haven't even stepped foot in there, it was real eye-opening this week going to those events and going to those meetings. And I think it was a great opportunity for me and Kanish to meet a lot of really involved kids that want to be more involved but are disconnected from, you know, student government. You want to talk about the senator?
Oh yeah, and so just like give you a little bit of my background, I'm the Senate Chair this year. And one of the things that going along with that of getting, you know, different representation on the student government. This year's the first year in 120-something years of the Student Senate being the representative body of the students, that we actually had a senator from the Multicultural Center, and we actually had a senator from Rough Riders. And Rob did a great job last year of including senators from each of the different schools. So I think we're just now starting to become more inclusive on our representative body, and I think we work a little bit harder with the heads of the different major clubs, not only the CSOs, but also the community councils, because, you know, like we said earlier, those are where the really involved students are, and if you're really involved, then we really want to hear what you have to say. I think we're good.
Okay, so my idea of inclusivity along with Matt, we think that ASG's role is not so much to focus on the differences as all of you as students. You know, we're not trying to separate you. What RLC are you from? Where's your hometown? What's your major? We want to bring Broncos together because everybody in this room has one thing in common, and it might be the only thing we have in common, and that's the fact that we attend Santa Clara University and we are Santa Clara Broncos. And so that's why our whole platform focuses around this idea of tradition. And we feel that by bringing students together from all across campus for a purpose of building that community aspect, we will provide that inclusive community that we're looking for. So one of our ideas that we have for this is Friday Fight Song afternoons. And so, you know, we're looking to touch a little bit on what actually Rob and Alex said, to collaborate with, you know, Rough Riders, with the Athletic Association, and get together and work to make like a barbecue, a tailgate, and bring all these students together, because when we have one thing that we can work for, we don't have to focus so much on our differences. We can bond, we'll have that inclusive community, and we think that that will just really enhance the student life here at Santa Clara.
Thank you. So our idea is to increase inclusivity on campus. I recently attended a play called NWC, which, sorry to offend your ears, stands for Nigger Wetback Chink. And I was honestly blown away by the message that it had to send, and just really the positive aspects behind it, and really the impact I think it had on everyone sitting in the audience that night. So I think as part of our platform, we want to encourage inclusivity in terms of creating programming like NWC, potentially an annual event that all freshmen should attend, because I think Santa Clara as a university really does a good job now of embracing diversity, but could do a much better one. And I also think that events like that just encourage a lot more active discussion between students. And also part of our platform was breaking the bubble, which I think gives us the idea that, or would allow us to promote events that encourage sort of active engagement with social and political issues that are happening off campus, which creates more of a common ground that I think students can relate with. And if they're actively discussing these political and social issues, there's more of a chance to find that shared common interest and common ground. I also, as part of my committee on comm, just created or was just reviewing all the answers from an RLC survey system, or from an RLC system survey, which really highlighted to us the fact that most students on campus do not really actively engage with the theme of their RLC. So I think one step that we could take in a positive direction would be to revamp the RLC system in such a way as to create more of a connection to the themes and the general topics that that they uphold, and in that way really promote positive inclusivity across campus.
Thank you. Okay, for our next question. What are your ideas to increase school spirit on campus / increase attendance at all athletic events?
So
more time? Repeat the question. Okay, so how do you get attendance up on campus? It's pretty easy. Sports teams kind of have to win. To be perfectly blunt, I mean, does anyone know who the highest paid employee at Santa Clara is? Coach Keating, wow. And how did he do this year as an employee? Worse than WCC history. So I mean, it kind of starts right there. We're hiring, he's the highest paid employee. We just signed him to a 5-year deal. Why are we doing that? Why is the athletic director doing that? That's a simple question that we have to ask ourselves,
Also, just raise your hand. How many people here are on NCAA or club sport team? So I live with a bunch of cross-country guys. Some of them are here. But what I've noticed with them is, every time there's a basketball game, a lot of times with volleyball games, they'll go as a team. And one of the things that I think will increase attendance to not just athletic events, but all events, is if you go as a group, if ASG goes to events together. If the cross-country team was already going to basketball events, why doesn't the basketball team, team up and go to the cross-country events? If we can come together as groups already and just, go to more Santa Clara events as Santa Clara students, I think it'll go a long way to just helping, even the smallest events get a large turnout and a lot of support from the community.
Yes, we're ready. So we're going to look at this from 2 different points of view. First of all, we think that there needs to be more awareness around campus of these actual events. I know some of us, actively check our emails. We know what the events are. We have friends on teams. We're going to go support them. But we are looking, like we said, with relations, we're looking to spread awareness around campus for what, not just ASG, but what every organization is up to. So by having, that ASG Party Talk, we can highlight a game of the month. It could be a club sports game. It could be intramural championships. It doesn't have to just be NCAA. We'll have, our weekly lunches when we can be like, hey, guys, this is what's happening this weekend. Make sure you go out and support. It's going to all go back to us wanting to build community. Another idea we have is to utilize Locatelli a little bit more. I know it's kind of far for some of you to walk all the way over there, but the hub of athletics is on that side of campus. And so we're looking to move the Rough Rider entrance from where it is now to the other side, by like the back side of the pool by Locatelli, so that we can work with athletics to begin hosting pregame barbecues, tailgates, if you will, over there, utilizing the lawn and Locatelli, because it's a space for students. And if we start utilizing that, that can become a thing that Santa Clara students will do on a Friday afternoon. Go over there, hang out, toss football around, barbecue, and then go to the games that night. So those are the ways we are looking to increase attendance.
So currently ASG is working on an adopt-a game system where parties are able to take a special interest in the Bronco events and Bronco sporting events. So we'd really like to try and foster that idea, and Rebecca's going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's an idea that we have to really increase attendance. Also an interesting idea we had, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Sci-Fi Olympics, but it's kind of an ongoing process throughout, I think, winter quarter, where students partake in, it really gets everybody involved in a long period of time. And so how would we translate that to sporting events? We think that trying to maybe come up with something like an RLC Cup, I know it sounds kind of a funny idea, but it would really be a great way to encourage people to attend sporting events and to take more active engagement in school spirit. So that means, participation in Bronco Week, among other activities that go on during the school year in support of spirit. And so we think that by providing incentives for students to do that, that there would be much more higher and more enthusiastic attendance at sporting events.
Thanks, Avon. Well said. And I think we also want to highlight 2 other ideas that would really, I think, help increase attendance. One of which Jenna spoke about in terms of a lot of students really don't know when all of the sporting events are taking place on campus. And one of the things that I've worked hard on this year as comm chair is creating a app for Santa Clara that would actually include a streamlined calendar for all of the events on campus, not just athletics. So that would be something that students can access at any time. It would be free to all students, and in that way they would always have the schedule of games at the touch of their fingertips. I think we also want to highlight the point that we want to increase collaboration with CSOs, and one of the CSOs is Rough Riders, who work hard to promote athletic events as it is. So increased collaboration with groups like Rough Riders that really specialize in highlighting or creating a lot more sense of spirit and greater attendance at these athletic events would really serve the student body well.
Okay, so we have a couple parts to answer this question. So first off, we feel that one of the mistakes that we make at Santa Clara is we only measure school spirit by attendance at events. So I see, and Alex sees school spirit, a measure of school spirit is you guys coming out right now. Because having you guys sit still for an hour where we just talk at you is, I'm impressed with your school spirit right now. Second part, we see school spirit in the form of 1,000 students yelling SCU, getting off a train at 6 in the morning in San Francisco at Beta Break. That's incredible. That kind of energy cannot be matched. And we feel like just measuring it by the attendance at some game on a Tuesday night when everyone has midterms just isn't an accurate measure. One of the problems with people in ASG is that sometimes we feel like we have all the answers. Rough Riders works year-long to get attendance out at these events, and asking people who've only been in ASG how we're going to increase attendance isn't a perfect way to go about solving that problem. We feel like collaborating with Rough Riders is the best way to increase attendance at these events. Now, to not totally avoid the question, we strongly believe that students support what they help create. So basketball games do a great job at incorporating students in the audience to the game. And we feel like working with Rough Riders to find new programs that will incorporate students in the audience onto the field or onto the court will make people more excited about going and increase school spirit.
I'd like to ask clarified questions to other.
Over, you have a minute.
Just real quick, Connor, I'm just curious as to how you think that, as your role as Vice President of ASG, you'll be able to really transform the success level of our sporting teams. I'm just curious as to, what's the link there?
So I think, well, just real quick, when it comes directly to basketball, the point that Connor brought up was the fact that higher than our in-house attorney, the person that pays the most on campus is Kerry Keating. I love Kerry Keating, great guy. But when it comes to his performance this year, it wasn't really up to par, especially with what he's been telling, a lot of the boosters and alumni. And what we're just saying is, as students, we have a vested interest as part of this team. We're not going to get on the court, but we're the people there at every single game. And I think we should have a say into whether or not a contract gets signed. I mean, if we just had one of these, I feel like a lot of people would have shown up in the same sense that, the Green Bay Packers host their shareholders meeting and ask them for ideas. Why don't we do the same? That's all your tuition dollars that are paying his salary, so more involvement, I think, is how we can help.
All right, last question I have. What makes your ticket distinctly different from all other candidates? Starting with Jennifer.
Okay, so to start off, I think our ticket stands out from the others in that the two of us combined have the most ASG experience, and we know that not ASG isn't the only thing that matters when you're running for president and vice president. You need to take into account that other experiences around campus really do matter. But I think Matt and I have created a great combination of both. We've both been on ASG for 2 years. We've served on the student senate. We've served on the executive branch, on the community development branch. So we have a very deep understanding of how ASG works, and through that have been able to connect with a variety of administrators that will need to get our platform done. So we have those relationships already, and we also have engaged in a variety of other on-campus activities that allow us to take those different viewpoints from students around campus. And secondly, we would like to highlight our platform as one that is very organized in the sense that it's accessible to students, you guys can connect with it, and our platform goals are very clear. We're not sitting here saying, we want to increase school spirit. We have, the details, we have the concrete goals of what we want to attain. And so we think that by doing that, that's going to allow us to spend the year working on our platform goals, having those defined, and then also being prepared to take on issues that will arise throughout the year, because we have the clear goals and we also have room to expand into things that may arise throughout the year.
Our platform is really different, stands out in terms of its differences from the other candidates, in terms of it's based on really meaningful ideas and concepts that Abe and I have really put a lot of hard work and effort into. And I think it incorporates a lot of issues and student needs, and it really reflects a very holistic picture of what the students want. And one of those things I think that's very widely represented on campus at the moment, but not so much in ASG, is service. And so the service with a purpose tagline of our platform is really something that I think is unique to Aiden and I as a ticket, and is something that I think reflects well on us as people and as potential figureheads to serve and promote you, because I think service is something that the university really tries to foster, and something that I think it should be important to all ASG candidates, regardless of what other issues may seem more pressing, such as winning games.
Just to add to that, part of our interest in service is that we really think that SCAP's relationship can be strengthened with ASG. Right now, I think that there is a relationship, and a lot of it deals with club funding, which is absolutely important, but we think that it could be strengthened to really collaborate on projects and event planning with SCAP. And then besides that, another idea we had was that within the RLC system, we really think that Communitas RLC does a great job emphasizing service by having a service floor. And I think that although other RLCs on campus absolutely have service as part of their covenants and their programming, we think that placing more of a distinction on a floor like they do in Communitas or Campisi would be a great way to increase service and increase interest in service at Santa Clara.
So we feel like what makes us stand out the most as a ticket is the scale of our ideas. We really sat down and decided what are some things that are going to affect everyone at Santa Clara while we're here and after we graduate. Because something that ASG does, it's great. What we do for you is sometimes we work very hard on some minute detail of your experience at Santa Clara and end up achieving something that is good, but we could have done so much more to affect how you remember your time here and your relationship with the school after graduation. So we believe strongly that there are opportunities now while you're here and after you graduate. Also, just because we were hoping you'd ask the Greek life question, we're not sure if we're going to be able to be asked it, we want to clarify there's a rumor going around that we want to try to bring Greek life back on campus. We don't, because that would take a focus group for like 3 years to get any kind of change with the school. So we plan on having a conversation with the school and Greek organizations, but we do not plan on a full affiliation, just to clarify that. And now Alex.
So people may question whether or not I'm qualified for this position because of my lack of experience with ASG. However, I have a wealth of experience with APB, and I'm currently the Social Programming Chair for the National Jesuit Student Leadership Conference. And so this helps bring a diverse and new perspective to ASG. My experience, as well as Rob's past 3 years of experience on Senate, give us fresh ideas. And with my experience outside of ASG, I'm able to see, the negative sides of ASG as well as the positive sides. And this can help improve ASG tenfold. Thank you.
All right, so I just want to start off with this question with 2 points, and then I'll let Connor talk. But the first one is, even from the beginning, the way that we kind of built up the way we're running this campaign is not to come up here or to go to meet the candidate spirit thing and lecture you on what we think you want. I just want to stress that from the beginning, what we want to do is involve all of you even more with the way that we run our campaign. And if we do get elected, the way we run our office, I guess, as you call it. The second thing is, what would kind of set us apart is, we had some really weird questions, really weird requests over the past week and a half as we've been going to all these different meetings. But what we've been kind of telling people is, we're never going to say no, My freshman year, a lot of people, if I had iPhones, probably half this room, no service anywhere. Most people would have just said, whatever, AT&T sucks. But what we did was we had a call AT&T day, and we had enough people call them on that one day that we had an account executive here with us at Santa Clara the next day, and that's why we have by Malley those 2 AT&T towers. Last year, we got notice that the Caltrain station might be shutting down, and rather than just saying, that sucks, they need to get funding, they're already in debt, we actually got a survey, petition of 700 people, and actually me and Matt went up to the meeting and represented Santa Clara, we're actually the only Santa Clara people there. We kind of told the council that was making the decision that, we have 700 people behind us, and there are even more who didn't have the time to sign this, and we still have the Caltrain station. So there's different things. Oh, sorry, 30 seconds. You want to do something real quick?
All right, so just lastly, close out, I guess, why we're unique. I mean, we want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to facilitate change through you. I'm just new to ASG, kind of been going to meetings, sent things lately. No experience whatsoever, but I do have a lot of outside experience in the real world. And from what I've seen in the ASG, Senate meeting stuff, it's just nothing's getting done. I'm not seeing things happen that need to happen. There's a lot of safety priorities that need to go up on the list. They hand out a list to the candidates. Sorry. I'll finish. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Candace. Okay.
Are these working the same way?
Yes, so we will begin with Rebecca. So Rebecca, you'll be answering the first question. Sorry. It's going to take a while. Describe why you and your running mate make a good team. How does your relationship offer balance?
Great question, one I think that reflects really well on Aben and I as a ticket. So Aben and I met freshman year on floor 1 of SWIG, and really since day one have kindred a friendship that is more than just a friendship and has been really a working relationship in terms of the fact that we are both environmental studies majors, so we've had chances to take a class together, and most recently actually over winter quarter we took a 2-part course for environmental studies, which was an upper division course that actually went to Baja over spring break. So as far as collaboration and working together goes, I don't think any experience can really teach you more about how well or not well you work with someone than spending 10 days in a kayak and camping with them on a beach, which is what Aben and I did, which is when we really came up with most of the ideas around this platform. And I think we learned a lot about each other and balanced each other out in great ways in terms of I really see myself as someone who has sort of really broad, big, great ideas, and sometimes I need to be brought back down to earth and kept in check in terms of what we can and cannot accomplish, and sitting down and saying, okay, this is step 1, 2, 3 in a process until we reach that final goal. And Aben really is a good compliment to me in that way, in terms of really being able to sit me down and say, well, that's a great goal, but how are we going to achieve it?
We talked about this earlier, but just wanted to add, thank you, Rebecca. Just wanted to add that we do have quite a diverse perspective here at Santa Clara. So Rebecca's been part of ASG for 3 years now, and I've been involved as a CF, and we also have other commitments. So we do have, we kind of have the student perspective, but then also the student government perspective coming together, and I think that can really help us in really listening to the student bodies.
So I feel that Alex and I work excellently together because, first of all, we are brothers in Sigma Chi, fraternity off campus. And that's where we really got to know each other. We lived next to each other last year. And that's about where the similarities end. So Alex looks good with earrings. I look like an idiot with earrings. Alex is more geared towards focusing on building a community. That's why you joined APB. Sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of you, but it's very obvious. And I've been in ASG since I got here, and I really wanted to use that as a way to make a lasting impact on the school. Lots of my friends describe me as, the first thing that they used to describe me as far as things involved with school is they say, he's in student government. And I feel like reaching out to someone who has not been in student government, so he has a different perspective, is the best compliment to my qualifications.
Thanks, Rob. What also makes us a good team is last year in Sigma Chi, our biggest philanthropy event, Derby Days, we were integral parts in running it and making sure that it was not only safe and fun, but also successful. It was so successful, in fact, that we were able to raise, with our fraternity, $10,000 for the Huntsman Cancer Research Foundation. And with that $10,000, John Huntsman Sr. also gave half of what we donated. So it was a total of $15,000. And our experience with that off-campus organization, is evidence to how we can work together on campus as well. Thank you.
think me and Connor have definitely some complementing characteristics. I've been on Senate since my freshman year as well. This will be his first year. But when it comes down to it, what we really want to emphasize is the fact that we really do want to get stuff done. We want to get actual change implemented as quickly as possible. And so the way we kind of want to let you guys know about this is tell us a little bit of a story. When Connor first thought about running for student body president, he actually went over to Father Eng's office. He wanted to talk with Father Eng, see what the priorities were, what he should make sure he addressed. And what did the secretary tell you?
She said he's busy for next month.
And then you said, oh, I can come back later. Yeah, can I still get an appointment? And
Send us an email.
And so what Connor kind of got from that was, not really open to meeting with students. And he ended up going to the newspaper and talking to a friend of his. And it was basically like, this isn't right. I pay tuition. He's representing me as the president of this institution. I mean, I should be able to get an appointment even if it is for a month in advance. And so he went to there and actually got a phone call from Father Eng's office the next morning. Had a meeting with him at 11 o'clock the next day. And actually kind of talked a little bit about what we actually want to get done and what his priorities were that we should make sure we address.
We both like to have fun. We both have siblings coming here next year. We want to make it a safer place, a more fun place. We both went to all boys Jesuit High School. I went to Loyola down in Los Angeles. He went to Loyola right down the street. And we think we make a great team.
Thank you.
Okay, so Matt and I make a very good team because of the way that our personalities work together. I am a person who's very organized and very goal-oriented and have this idea of what I want to do, and Matt is able to provide a lot of creativity and different ideas of how to get there, and I think that that's very good for me in terms of keeping what our end goal is in mind, but then also realizing that you can't always stay on the same path to get there. And then also our experiences are both very different, so they allow us to have that nice perspective that can connect with every student, whether it's on ASG. I have a lot of experience on the community development branch, and Matt brings a lot of experience from the Senate branch, so we'll be able to take those two. And then as far as going down to our schools that we're in, arts and sciences versus business, where we live off campus, the friend groups we have, so we bring that nice different perspective, and Matt's going to talk about our similarities.
And then just quickly about our similarities, I mean, we really care about your guys' ideas. We love SCU, and most importantly, we're looking to make changes that affect students now, but as well in the future. So thank you guys.
Go for it, David.
Okay, thanks. I'd just like to add one more thing. So, if the president's role is much different than the vice president's role. The president is very big picture oriented, and I think Rebecca spoke to that earlier. She's very much so a big picture person. I consider myself a very detail oriented person, and Lizzie just arrived, and I think that she could attest to this, but the vice presidential position is very detail oriented, and that's in spending hours and hours on the weekly emails, but also in going through all the election material. Clearly, it's a very tedious task, and it's very strange about me, but I kind of look forward to that kind of thing. So that's why we'd be a good team.
So next question, we'll start with Robert here. If not elected, what do you plan to do to continue your involvement at SCU to pursue your beliefs expressed in your platform?
Love that question. All right, so Alex and I have already talked about this. Well, I've talked to Alex about this. So if not elected, there's two things I want to do. Not elected, I don't plan on being an ASG next year. I've already spent 3 years in it, and I feel like I've already made a lasting impact on it. And you know what? I think that whichever presidential candidate wins is going to take it in a great direction. But if not elected, number one, I'd love to be on the Student Affairs and PC Committee. You guys have probably never heard about this. It's the committee that basically decides policies for students. It covers anything that could be, that has to do with you outside of the classroom. So like residence hall policies, anything you can imagine outside of the classroom. And I'd love to have a conversation with Jeannie Rosenberger about how fantastic Santa Clara's Greek life is here. It brings out an amazing amount of energy from students. It encourages outstanding leaders. And one of the best things about Greek life at Santa Clara, a measurable thing about how great of a group it is that Relay for Life was 2 weeks ago. And it is an event that brings a lot of people together. There are teams, and they work together to raise money. Now, Greek students only make up about 20% of the school, however, 50% of the money raised for that event was from Greek teams. So we feel like there's a lot of potential there for application in other parts of the school. Anything else to add?
Yeah, if not elected, as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently the social programming chair for the NJSLC, which is a huge conference held by one Jesuit school every year. And the summer of 2013, it'll be coming here, and it's Santa Clara's really excited about it. So I'll be helping out with that and making sure that our school is represented well to other student leaders from other Jesuit schools. Thank you.
So I'm not on ASG right now, so I don't think I'd join a lower rank. I started a company in January. I know, we in Silicon Valley, entrepreneur gets thrown around a lot. Part of our platform is, bring some local businesses here. I want to go to a bar. Don't you guys want to go to a cool bar, not the Hut? I mean, things like that I would do regardless if I was student body president or not. So I'm going to be involved at Santa Clara regardless if I'm student body president or not. I just think that the system we have right now needs some serious change, and the change is going to come from the top, not the bottom.
One more thing we want to add, just an example of how people, who may not necessarily be their student body presidents, but can really make a lasting change on different campuses. From nearby at Stanford to far away at Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago actually just gave a $500,000 grant to a group of students to create their own restaurant. And we have an entrepreneur club right here, which I think, it's a great club, but I don't know if they've actually had that much faith in the students to give them that much of an opportunity. At Stanford, you can apply for grants for as little as $5,000 to as much as $30,000. And it just shows a lot of trust, not only in the alumni who provide the funds for it, but also that the people on campus are making a difference, not only for the general, the world, if their company's going to go scale a lot larger, but also bringing that back to Santa Clara. I think we can learn a lot from our peers, and just working on that entrepreneurial angle, I think, is something we'd like to do. Thank you.
So Matt and I, if not elected, are both very interested in remaining on ASG, and I think that's a testament to how much we care not only about the organization and what it does for the students, but also about you guys and what you have to say. So we're both very interested in either remaining on the executive branch as community development chair again, organizational development, coming back as senior senators. So we're really looking to continue our involvement with ASG because we've invested so much into it already, and our whole platform is based off of our idea of starting traditions, living a legacy, and even if not elected, we believe there's plenty of ways to do that within the organization, and then also while continuing our involvement with the other organizations around campus.
Yeah, I think I speak for both of us when I say we've truly enjoyed our time on student government, and really why we want to be on it next year is because we feel that we can make a really big impact on the school. We feel that student government is the best way to do that, so that's why we would like to be on it next year as well. Thank you.
Just want to add one more thing. If not elected, I am still a sophomore, so I would plan on running again next year. And I just emphasizing that because some people might think I'm just tagging along with Rob, but this is something I really am passionate about and really do care about this school and want to help change it. Thank you.
Okay, so like both Jenna and Matt, Rebecca and I are both very interested in becoming part of student government next year. We both want to possibly be on the exec board, and we've applied for those positions. So that's a testament to why we're really, really interested in continuing on the legacy we have at Santa Clara with the government. And then I just want to speak about one of our taglines, educating for the environment. I think that if we weren't elected, or if I wasn't elected, that this is absolutely something that would continue to happen. I'm going to be the off-campus intern, the Office of Sustainability next year, and I work with a really great group of people, and we have a lot of good goals in mind for next year. And so no matter if we're not elected, this is absolutely something that I'll continue to work on next year at Santa Clara.
Well said, David. And I think just to reiterate kind of what he touched upon, for me, ASG has been a wonderful experience simply because, unlike some of my other tickets, I really feel like ASG has the power to create lasting change and has done so in the past, something that I and most of these other members have been a part of. So I think for me it's really, it's more of a ASG has become more for me as a way to enact the lasting change that I really want to see. And I think for me, this position is a lot more than just a title. It really reflects my passion for the organization and where I hope to see it go. So regardless of whether regardless of whether or not we win this election, I think our involvement is still going to be great, and I think it reflects something about our character.
All right, just have one last question here, and this applies to, well, this question is directed at those who it is applicable. What qualifies you to lead ASG if you do not have experience on ASG?
I'll start with that one. So I think it's an advantage. I think coming in fresh, I think great ideas, new ideas, not someone knowing the policies. I'm not going to be able to shoot down my own ideas before I even put them out there. I think Kanish has seen a lot of my ideas. I think he's Senate chair right now. He knows what's up. He knows the policies. He knows the red tape that we have to cut in order to get some of these changes enacted. And I think sitting up here, you have Rob, you have Jenna, you have Rebecca. They've all been on ASG. They've all done a great job, but not good enough for me. And that's why I'm running.
Okay, yes, I have not been involved in ASG prior to this, but like Connor, I agree, I think it's going to be an advantage, specifically because I have such experience in other areas, that being I was a CF, and so I think I really have the student perspective, a lockdown on that, and I'm still very involved in the RLCs. I did a community RLC class. I peer educated for that last quarter, and so I was able to kind of re-interact with the RLC community after coming back from abroad. So having that perspective, I think, is a real advantage because it truly allows you to, step back from government for a little bit and step back from all the policies and the rules and just really think about what students are actually saying as opposed to being so formal. And having that experience, being able to listen to what students want from that very informal dialogue, I think is something that absolutely will impact the way I take this position and would make it a much different thing and very make it more successful.
So, as I said earlier, with my experience on APB, I feel that I'm prepared for leadership opportunity on ASG. Most of the experience you acquire on ASG, from what I understand, is a lot of technical stuff. And being the fast learner that I am, I feel that I could pick up on this technical ASG jargon and be as helpful as someone on APB could be. And a lot of it is, like these guys said, bring fresh ideas, be new ideas as well. I don't want to reiterate what they've said, but yeah, thank you.
Each ticket will now have 1 minute to form a closing statement, and we'll just go left to right.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for staying this whole time, guys. We would like to quickly talk 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay, so one thing we didn't get to talk about was a more cohesive alumni base. Elite universities pride themselves on their cohesive alumni bases, and we think that better connecting students with alumni is the best opportunity that we have to make Santa Clara students more competitive in a competitive job environment. But being cohesive with the alumni is not the only thing, having a job is not the only thing that you get from being more cohesive with the alumni. It's people who've had a shared experience with you, who have a vested interest in your success. We're here because of the generosity of that alumni. We go around and we laugh about the names of like Sobrato or Levy. Well, those people are extremely generous people who've given us money to invest in our success. So we feel like being better connected with alumni is the best opportunity for students at this school.
So as your ASG Vice President and President, we will endeavor to make the expression of your voice our top priority. Our main goal is to reconstruct ASG so that it's easier to communicate with them, so that every student, nay, every Bronco, can have their voice heard in ASG government. Thank you.
Vote for Robert and Alex, thank you.
Just want to thank you guys for staying the whole time. I know it's Monday night, long weekend, midterms and stuff, so first off, thank you. You know, me and Kanish, we love this place. I have a brother that's a sophomore here. My sister's coming here next year. His brother's coming here next year. We want to make this place a better place right now. You know, not in 2 years, 3 years. We're here next year. It's our last year. You know, we want some serious change. If you guys do too, you know what to do.
Go Broncos.
Okay guys, thanks again for staying. I'm Jenna Sasso, this is Matt McDonald. We think we have some great platform goals that are very attainable that will affect you now and the future students to come. We believe that we will do a good job of bringing back old traditions, working on current programs, and implementing our own new ideas using our experience and relationships that we've built with all the people we're going to need to talk to get those things done. And
Really, we're looking to start traditions, leave legacies, vote Sasso Mac. Thanks, guys.
So I think the attendance tonight really perfectly encapsulates sort of why we're sitting here before you. Santa Clara students are really enthusiastic and passionate about what's going on campus, which is inspiring and really invigorating, I think, for us as leaders. A vote for us, I believe, is a step in the right direction towards a bright and exhilarating future for Santa Clara, as our goals really aren't just attainable, but representative of the amazing spirit and drive for excellence that really exemplifies, I think, what it means for all of us to be Broncos.
Thank you all for coming, and please vote for Rebecca Navin tomorrow on campus. Thanks.
Yeah, so as the candidates mentioned, voting will take place tomorrow on eCampus. You log in as normal and there will be a place to click on student elections along the left-hand side. It's open from 8 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. There will also be a public polling station right outside of Benson. We'll have laptops set up. You can use any laptop to access eCampus, but if you want to get an I voted sticker and maybe some goodies, you're welcome to come by the public polling station in between the bookstore and the MCC. So just make sure that you vote, that you encourage your friends to vote, that you help publicize elections, and that we get a good voter turnout. Thank you all so much once again for coming. We really appreciate your support of the candidates and of the elections process in general. Thank you. You're for the lead.